Yo, what's going on, everyone? It's Chase. We'll look at Bitcoin. We'll look at ES today. I'm going to start from a zoomed out view as usual. Okay, we know how it goes. Zoomed out, weekly, daily. This is where we're going to, get our sense of where the market is headed towards. Okay, so we just run through this quick. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to do crazy analysis of what's on the left. Just keep it simple. All right, this strong bull run. What happened all throughout here? We had leg down, support, and before we finally crashed through, this was our final support. So support, breaks down through. Okay, we come down. It's a bit of a deviation here. Probably take one of these lows or something of that nature. You can extend it out. You can see, okay, support. Comes up, one test of resistance here. Just big push through. Okay, so this was obvious deviation here. A little bit of, I would say, short-term accumulation, because it's hard for me to see this being necessarily your bottom right here. But I'm always open to adjustments in time. I haven't changed my thoughts at all in general, but just walking through the price action and what I see, I'm never going to take an old bias and try to continue to force it on what I see. Right, I'm just going to go off of what the chart provides me. When you stick yourself in a box and you don't let yourself ever adjust, that's how you become, not only the laughing stock of CT, but you become the person who's just constantly counter trading the way the market is moving. Okay, so just some relevant high time frame levels here. If we happen to move up towards 28, 29, which I don't think we're going to do, I think best case scenario right now for upside is a deviation above this liquidity level here. This isn't the tap I wanted to see. I talked about shorting this area, but I wanted to see, a push above here, an actual deviation of price, get people buying the breakout. People are thinking, oh, it's going to go up, it's flipping to support, I'm buying the breakout. Or I wanted to see people also, it's a combination, right? It's buying the breakout, and it's also anyone who was shorting early in here, their stops. So we come up, and I talk about this all the time, but when we push up here and your shorts from here, they become forced buyers. They're forced to buy to get out of their position. That fills the big players' asks, fills the asks, etc. So you have breakout buyers filling the asks. You have stops triggering and filling the asks, okay? And all that requires a little bit of movement, in my opinion. This is not a real liquidity stop run here. We wanted to see something like this, and boom, and then back in, okay? And that's when you can look for your retest, or you could simply go from in here. This is still on the table for me, okay? I'm still waiting for a deviation of this level, and I will be looking for shorts somewhere in here. That's my plan, and we'll see where it goes. Maybe it tags into here. I don't think we get all the way up into here, because that would be like such a clean retest. It doesn't really make sense. I put out a tweet yesterday. Take a sip of water. I put out a tweet yesterday, and some people probably thought I was like memeing or coping, but it's really not. When you're trading ES, you typically want to ask yourself, where is the liquidity? At that point, you're often going to find good reversal trades, SFPs, deviations of liquidity, and then back down below the level, like I just talked about, right? Deviation of liquidity, back below the level, your entry clean right here with your stop here. Things of that nature happen a lot on ES. Whereas Bitcoin lately, in my opinion, I don't even think it's cope. I think that Bitcoin's price action has changed recently, and it's really just what is going to fuck over local participants and also let no fresh blood get aboard the swing move. So what I mean by this is that, let's say we are to move up into the blue box. I don't think we're going to sweep this low. Why? Because it would allow fresh blood that trades a market like ES and understands liquidity to get on board. This is where you want to see a sweep in order to get to here. But we're not going to get that, because Bitcoin trades like a piece of shit lately. And just my personal opinion, but I'm finding much more success on ES. I've been trading that a lot more lately. And as always, shout out to Prime XBT who sponsored these streams, and you can trade ES on Prime XBT under the ticker SP500. Okay, check out my links at the bottom here. If you sign up and deposit there, that keeps these videos coming for free. Okay. So what do I think is going to happen? Well, I put out that post yesterday too. I wouldn't be surprised if we just sweep this low, just to make it look like it's shit, right? Like look at this. Like this is a strong impulse here. This should hold as support, but it's not gonna. You got to think, oh, well, how does Bitcoin trade? Well, Bitcoin's not going to give everyone an entry, but what it will do is it'll fuck over the people who are long from in here, and then it'll continue. So these people waiting for an actual, major sweep of liquidity aren't going to get it. You'll get this minor sweep of liquidity, then you move up into here, and then how do we fuck people from here? Well, we fuck people from here by not giving them an entry in here on this support. We fuck them by not getting to there. That's why I've had this front ran for a while now. That's how we fuck the people looking to get in on the swing move down, by stopping somewhere right in here. Little accumulation in here, like I said, basically accumulating of short position. People buying the breakout, expecting 30K, etc. And then it goes back in. And then finally, that's when it comes down, and then you still have people, right, who are going to be like, oh, liquidity, I'm buying this for 30K. Nope, they're going to get completely fucked, and we're all the way back down to this consolidation. Because don't get me wrong, this sweep of liquidity should be an amazing trade, but since it's Bitcoin, it's not going to be. And it's just what I've seen over the past couple months, that Bitcoin just does not sweep liquidity cleanly and give quality price action when it comes to liquidity trades anymore. I'm not sure what has changed. I know some people talked on Twitter about how, it's Binance moving price or whatever. And I don't know, maybe they just don't want to sweep shit. I don't know what they're doing. But I mean, it's just, a lot of this is just funny. If you know Bitcoin, you know that it would never fucking print a clean SR flip like this and move up to this like minor liquidity here. I mean, look at these tiny little stabs. And also back in the day, you know that this level would flip and we'd get a strong impulse here. Everyone would be crazy euphoric, and then all of a sudden we'd dump overnight or something, and then you'd be like in that type of situation. So this price action is quite different from price action over, I would say, the previous year or two. I don't really go back much more than that, because if you go back 3 years or 4 years, then you're talking about price action of Bitcoin that was completely different of any type of price action that we see today. And I'm sure many can vouch for this. Old school Bitcoin price action would literally print rising wedges, and then it would break down out of the wedge, right? And you would be able to just short this immediately, and it would just drop, and it was perfect. And then that evolved into, and this is, I guess this is like story time, but then that evolved into it doing this, like a fake out, and then pushing for liquidity, and then dumping. And this is sort of the price action that I had become used to with Bitcoin, and really where sort of my liquidity roots began. But we don't see that anymore. We don't see like great sweeps on liquidity and whatnot. Just my take. Amazing that we just come up and reject from resistance without like any, and people are just able to short this. Like, I'm not saying they're bad traders at all, because obviously they're the ones who made the profit, so they're obviously good traders, and I was the bad one here. It's as simple as that, right? We can't ever look at someone who's profitable and say, oh, they trade like an idiot or something. That's ridiculous, because if they're the one who's making profit, then their strategy is working and ours is not, and it's as simple as that. And I'll never be the person to say otherwise. But when I see this and it just simple reject off resistance, that's insane to me. That's not the Bitcoin that I know. So I'm starting to approach Bitcoin in a bit of a different light lately, and try to, and sort of like, as I said, what is going to fuck over local participants, but also not give any type of major entry for anybody, because that's the reality. I don't think we're going to give this major entry of liquidity. I don't think it's going to come up and give this major entry of resistance. And if it does come up here, then it's going past here, and probably, but it's probably not even sweeping this liquidity. It's probably just going to like sweep this one or something and then dump. It's going to do something like that and like leave this untapped. Like, that's the kind of stupid shit I think it's going to be doing lately. Yeah, hopefully this doesn't sound like I'm trying to sort of dig in here and help you guys out. I believe it's helpful. I'm not trying to relay frustration or anything. I could really care less how it trades because the majority of my trading lately has been on ES and it's been quite enjoyable. I'm having a really good month with that. So I just haven't had a ton of focus on Bitcoin, but anytime that I do look at it, and I've been keeping an eye on it on the daily and the 4-hour, sometimes the hourly, it's mostly been just not giving me what I want. So if it's not giving me what I want, I obviously have to somewhat adjust strategy, and that's what I'm doing. I'm going to see how this whole fuck over local participants but not give people a swing entry works. And I see that as possibly running just this low, because I think that would be quite ridiculous. It would be another test of support, right? So it would be another test of the support level, but we wouldn't come and sweep the actual low. We would just sweep this low, and then we'd come up, take out that liquidity, but we're not getting up to there to give people an actual entry. So we'll consolidate or do something in here while everyone's buying for the breakout, and then we'll dump back down. Then we'll go down. This liquidity won't give you shit for a bounce. It'll give you like the tiniest little thing, and then it'll dump again. Because all the people who've been waiting all this time for this liquidity to finally get long, then it won't work. And that's how I see it. Okay, moving forward, we look at ES. ES has been choppy today. There hasn't really been too much. I was in a trade. I had to close it early. Okay, if I could get off the fucking paint tool. ES trade today. Yeah, super choppy morning, right? Let's pull up the trading hours just so we could see. Super choppy morning. I had an idea of going for these equal highs right here. Okay, didn't tag them. Where was my entry? I let all this chop work itself out. I saw this impulse up, right? Look at this full-bodied candle right here, okay? Now we're going to be talking about more local price action and whatnot, giving you guys some more trading ideas. So the way I saw it was strong consolidation in here, resistance right here before the major move up. Why do I call this a major move up? Because look at the body on the candle. That's acceptance. Look at this, rejection. That's a rejection, 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 rejection. That is acceptance. Okay, so I took my little line here. I said, okay, that's acceptance right there. I bought the retest. Stop was right below here, and target was targeting these equal highs right here for liquidity. Now, we didn't get that. I had to cut it somewhere in here when I saw it breaking down. I don't know exactly where I cut it. Let me see real quick. Okay, so yeah, sort of SR flip here a bit, and there's a little deviation there, of course, but that's no big deal. Stop was down here, right? Because I had imagined that, look, you had lows here, you had lows here, and you had lows here. So I'm not going to put my stop below, and this is alpha right here. I'm not going to put my stop below this low, because if it's going to take out this low, then it's probably going to take out this low, then it's probably going to take out that low. It's probably going to take out all of them at the same time. So what I do is I say, okay, well, if I don't think that this liquidity should be tapped yet, then I'm putting my stop here. Because I'm not going to get stopped on all of them. Why do I want to be a part of the liquidation pool, which it looks like it's coming for now? And we'll see if we push into here. Mark that out. Why do I want to be a part of the liquidation pool, or you know, the stop loss pool? I'm just going to put my stop here, okay? And then we moved up. I was waiting for these equal highs. Unfortunately, didn't get it. Was a choppy morning, so I was being cautious with my trade. I was ready to close quick. And when I saw this breakdown here, I said, okay, well, you know, hopefully we're consolidating here for this move up. Break a market structure here. This retest, I think somewhere in here I got out. It was either here or here. And that's been it. So it's decent profits, right? It's nothing crazy. You got about 8 points, 10 points, something like that. I think it was 10-point move. Nonetheless, that's an example of a low time frame trade, just for today and how I went about it. And it wasn't too complicated, right? I didn't even need, like, you can start on high time frame, of course, and I can start on high time frame and show you guys sort of my thought process. I talked to you guys in the last video. I told you that this liquidity was my target, okay? So when this liquidity got tapped, what do I think's happening from there? Well, now I'm mostly a bull bias in here, so I moved down in today. I said, okay, well, what do I want to see? I want to see price move up. Where's my target on the upside? Well, my nearest target on the upside, and we want to go for, you know, how do I say it? we want to go for the nearest target, right? We want to take a target that looks available for the day of. We're not, if we're looking on a 15-minute time frame, we're not looking for this liquidity up here from a 15-minute entry. We're looking for relevant price action, local price action where liquidity is resting. And I was thinking, okay, well, look at these equal highs. That looks good. Choppy morning, finally break out of the choppy morning, buy the retest, target the liquidity. But it came up, it hit resistance here, it broke market structure in here, and there's your little retest. You get out, you get what points you can, okay? And then I was out for the rest of the day so far. And now that it's almost 3:45, I usually don't get in the trade past 3:45 or 3:50 on ES. I don't think that it's I don't really think that you get, not often do you get an amazing move at the end of the day. You might get a ripper every now and then, just some like before like quad witching or something, or before like options are going to close or something crazy like that. But most of the time you're not going to get a late in the day ripper. Okay, so that's just a quick trade that I took today. Moving forward, where do I see this going? Let's get rid of the trading hours for now. We don't really need it on high time frame. Swept liquidity here. A retest of liquidity could be interesting. We have highs here, mostly untapped. High here, untapped, untapped, untapped. So I like this liquidity here. Let's see how this looks in the daily. Yeah, this looks pretty clean in the daily, because I would think that, okay, you put in a low here, you put in a high here, you swept liquidity. Liquidity should be next on the daily time frame. Question is, how do we get there? A retest of this level, and we keep this low intact. That is a possible trade. Sweep of this low again is a possible trade. Again, we're always working with probabilities here, so I can't necessarily say, exactly what trade to take here. If we were to move down to a lower time frame, then we could say, let's look at this price action in here and see what's available. So as we look at this, we see we put in a low, a higher low here, a sweep rate here of this previous low. Nothing that strong though. I see a lot of liquidity built up here. Lows, 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 lows. A move into here, more accumulation into here. Let this price action play out, okay? Let it do this, let it do whatever it needs to do, let it do this. What we want to see is we want to see an obvious reclaim of this price action right here, okay? This move up, support, support. We want to see that. Let's get an obvious reclaim, get back into here, stops get put below there, and we look towards the liquidity level right there. Something along that line is a more high time frame plan that I could be looking for. Okay, hopefully this has been helpful. I appreciate you all as always. Please use the link at the bottom, keeps these videos coming. I will talk to you soon. Peace out, everybody. Have a great week.